see it was missing this little piece right there. But this is genuine OEM. Alright guys, welcome to a new video. Nice and sunny day in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Alright, we're going to be working on the Tecate 4. This thing we picked up a while back. And I got it for a really good deal. Well, I forgot what I paid for it. I think $2,000 or something. So it was a really good deal for a Tecate 4. It's 1987. They only made these 2 years. And so today we're going to be trying to rebuild the top end on this thing. Previous video on this was probably close to a month ago now. And we figured out that this spring right here, this is for the kickstart, there was a little piece chopped off of it. So we ordered up a new spring. We've got that in the car. Ordered up all the parts. The water pump seal was junk on this thing. Water pump is right there. So underneath there, there's a seal. That thing was junk because the oil was milky white, so we've got to replace that. The piston was scored, and the cylinder was good though. So here's the piston for it. The old one. Piston's got these big gouges on it. You can see the lines going up and down. So the piston was bad. We got a new piston and rings for it. And we got brand new oil, all new gaskets to go on this thing. So this thing's ready to be rebuilt. That's going to be today's plan. So where do we begin? I think we begin with getting the spring fixed and the water pump seal fixed. Get the new gasket on here, and then we'll start working on the top end. I think that sounds like a good plan. Alright, so here's the old spring that came off without having to take off the clutch. And here's a little white piece, plastic piece that holds it in place. It goes in between there, and that groove sits where that is right there. So I had to just kind of pry that white piece out. Wasn't a big deal. Here's the new part. Part number 92145-1517. And I believe these work with the KX 250s too, not just the Tecate 250s. So I think they use the same spring. But this is brand new, never been used. So this plastic piece gets pushed right in there. See, this one's a lot less worn. So we'll put that on. You can see the hole right there. This goes right in that hole. Just see if it's the same spring here first. So you can see it was missing this little piece right there. Just snapped right off. This has to wrap all the way around to over here. Might be a little tricky when this piece goes right in there. I'm going to try to wrap this around without having to take off this gear. See if we can get it. Alright, so it looks like we do have to take the clutch off to get that spring on, unfortunately. So we're going to quick crank this nut off of here. Way first. Could have been bad. Alright, this should just slide right off. Alright, let's quick get that spring on now. See if we can get it. they'll slide right over there. So that holds that in place like that. You gotta go like this. Go all the way over to here. There, that's on now. So you can see where I put the other part of it right there. That's nice and tight on there. All right, now we can put everything back on. Clutch goes on. There. This little piece goes on there. I believe it goes like this. Nut goes on. That gets cranked down. The tabs get folded down. Let's see if I can fold it down here. All right. Then the rest of it's pretty easy. Onto the water pump seal. Alright, let's see, getting the water pump cover off here. See what's underneath here. That thing was on there pretty good. Took a little bit of force to get off. There's the water pump. Looks like it's held on by that bolt right there. So I wonder if you can grab that shaft right there and keep that from moving. I don't know if there's a wrench fitting for that, but we'll try to zip that off of there, try to get that off, and the seal's underneath that. Alright, so I just took off the little impeller right here. It was not a reverse thread, so it's just a normal threaded bolt on there. And what I did was just hold the shaft with a wrench, and that seemed to work. Just came right off. So now this shaft can come out right here, just like that. And then what we need to do is pound that bearing out, and then we can get to that seal. So there's the seal right there. Doesn't feel too bad, but it could be worn. So we'll get that out of there, pound the new one in. Alright, so the manual recommended punching out the bearing before you get the seal out, but I was able to just pry that out with a screwdriver. Just stuck it right in the middle and pried that right out. So here's the old seal. Doesn't feel too bad, it's still squishy, it's not hardened or anything. But we'll go get the new one and compare it quick. Alright, so we've got the seal right here. Hard to kind of see. But there's numbers on the top part of the seal, and it's very soft right in here. So this side is going to be the up side. So the numbers, you can see right here, numbers and letters around here, that's facing up. Now, alright, so I just punched out this bearing that was in there. We're going to push the seal through. I just cleaned up the surface of the seal, and you want to clean up the surface of this right here too. Could just be some metal shavings in there. What we're going to do is punch this through until the surface is flush with where the mating surface is for the bearing there. So we're applying some high temp grease to it. So there's numbers on this side, numbers go in. So, and then we're going to punch that through. You might have to use a little bit of a punch to get that in there. Almost there. We'll work on that a little bit and then come back. Alright, water pump seal is in. Looking pretty good. See how it's flush with that surface in there? Now the bearing sits in here as well. And the numbers are going to face up on the bearing. So there's numbers right here. Just gonna wipe this out one last time here. And you're gonna wanna put a little grease on the bearing. Just a little bit. And this can be pushed in. Same thing, just pound that guy in. There she goes. All good to go. Wipe this cover out. That shaft can be put back in. Again, a little bit of grease on the shaft. So the shaft goes in like that. Push through the other side right there. That's nice and tight in there. Now the impeller goes on. Alright, water pump is installed. Or impeller, I should say. All smooth. Good to go. What we're going to do now is take a razor blade, get off this old gasket material, and get this one off as well. Reinstall that, let that dry for a bit, and then we're going to go on to the top end of the motor. So on to the fun part after this. We do have a new gasket for this whole case here, so we can clean off the surface of this cover too. So all the surface needs to be cleaned off. It looks like it was just like a sealant material. They didn't even use a gasket. So we can clean all that off, clean the case, and install this thing. Alright guys, we got the cover on, everything's moving good. I'll quick show you guys with the new spring in there. The kick lever works great. It's really smooth. So everything's good to go there. The clutch should be working. You can see the clutch pushes down right there. This little guy moves. And we got the water pump cover on here. Silicone that up so that shouldn't leak at all. Now we're going to be doing the top end. We'll put the gasket right there, the base gasket. I just cleaned up the surface of that. So that's all clean, ready to be installed. So let's put that gasket on there first. We got a brand new top end gasket kit for this thing. We'll put that gasket on and then we'll work on the cylinder. I got a ball hone to hone out the cylinder, so that's good. Here's the old head gasket right here. The head looks great on this thing, so we don't have to do anything to that. Just have to hone out the cylinder and then clean that up a bit. The reeds are perfect as well. Alright, here's the top end gasket kit I got for this thing. Vertex. Just need the base gasket. I think it's the green one down there. Alright, that's gonna go right here. Let's see. Which way does that thing go? There's a big hole right there. It's the wrong gasket for it. Looks like it might be. Let's see if that's the right gasket for it. That's strange. The old one is off of it, but well, that sucks. Huh. I think this is the wrong gasket. Let's see if the other gasket's correct on this thing. Unless this thing has like a different head on it. I don't think it does. Let's see, is that the same? What the heck, that's the same. Huh. Very interesting. Alright, so that's really weird. So this is the wrong base gasket for it for some reason. It doesn't fit on there at all. The bolt holes are like way too close together. So I found this one on eBay. This is what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to have that third hole in there. So I ordered that one up. It was only like $7, but it's gonna be a while until it gets here, which really sucks. I wanted to start this thing up today. And it's really weird because the head gasket is the exact same as the old one. So the head gasket was correct, but the base gasket wasn't. So I don't know if they accidentally put the wrong one in this kit or what was going on, but it is the incorrect one. So I think what we're gonna do is work on the cylinder here a bit. We're gonna get the hone out, start honing out the cylinder. Hopefully the hone is correct here. We gotta get this all cleaned up, gotta get the gaskets off of there, gotta get everything cleaned out, and we can put the reeds back on too. But I think that's the next step. We can also get the piston on there too. Alright, so here's the new piston going on this thing. Part number on this is, I believe it's right there, 130011246. And I believe this works with a KX250 as well. But this is genuine OEM. Standard bore. But yeah, that's pretty clean looking. Pretty nice. No imperfections that I can see on this thing. Alright, and then we've got the rings for this thing in here. Had to buy the rings separately, couldn't find the piston with the rings. So these are Kawasaki piston rings. Hopefully they're the right kind here. Open these up. So to install these rings, is there markings on these things? Yeah, there's an R right here and an R right there, so that means those are up. So that's the up side of the ring. But they're both the same, so it doesn't matter which one you put where. But we have to measure the ring gap now. Alright, let's quick see if this piston fits down there into the cylinder here. Just kind of place it down there. Oh yeah. Fits like a glove. There's no play in there at all. So that's perfect. And it almost gets stuck in the middle. So that's exactly where we want that. Alright, let's shove the rings down there. Alright, let's do the ring gap now. So the ring gap, you're going to flip over the cylinder. You're going to put the ring in here about an inch down the skirt line. And you don't want to go too far. Just push that down with the piston. About an inch down. Alright, so you can see it down there. Now we're going to measure that with a feeler gauge. Alright, we got the ring down there. Clearance for the ring should be 0.004 to 0.008 millimeters. So let's check the 0.008 first and see where we're at. It just barely slides through, so that's perfect. Look, it catches right there, so that's perfect. See if the 0.004 fits. Obviously it will. Let's see here. Yeah, it barely fits in there. Perfect. Alright, we're going to do the second ring just to make sure we don't want them too tight in there. These two rings are identical, so that's just something to keep in mind. And same with this one. Alright, the 0.008 barely fits in there, so we're good there. Alright, both rings are good. We're going to install the rings now. Take the piston, find the pin right there, and then find the R. We want the R to be up. So there's a little R right there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's a little R on the outside of the piston. That needs to be facing up. So we'll do this one first. Ooh. It's hard with gloves on. There we go. That one's on. Next one, and the R should be facing up. There's the R right there. And just double check that this one, yep, that one's good. Alright, so now we can put this one on, same thing. Find that little pin. And just slowly pry that on here. There we go. Perfect. Both rings are on. Alright, now we can try to get this gasket off the cylinder. Alright, with a razor blade, let's just peel this gasket off. A lot of people said in other videos I wasn't taking off the old gasket. I always do take off the old gasket. It just leaves some residue behind. Especially like the red gaskets, they leave like a red coloring behind. I don't know if it's something to do with like the dye they use or what, but I always scrape it off the old gasket. Okay. The gasket material off of that. Is everyone satisfied with that? Oh, there's a little piece right there. Cut that off. Alright, looks good. Now let's see if my new hone fits in here. Alright, here's the new ball hone I got, or flex hone it's called. It was, I think, 2 3/4 inches. So this is supposed to fit in here. I don't know. Seems a little close. Obviously we're gonna lube it up before we spin it though, so. feels like it might be a little tight. I don't know if I like that. Let's just see. Alright, well, it fits. I guess we can try it out. Alright, we've got some oil we're gonna put down there. Just spread the oil all around. Want to get that nice and lubed up here. And then put a little bit on the outside of the hone here too. Just for safe measure. Alright, we're gonna shove this down here. Hopefully it fits. And we're just gonna I think that'll be good. That's all that needs. Yeah. You can see the cross pattern right there. That's nice. So that worked out pretty well. I didn't want to take off too much material. I think it turned out pretty good. Gotta clean this up really well then after. Yeah, let's see if you guys can see that cross pattern. See that? You can see it cross right there. So definitely took off all the little burrs and everything in there. So, and went all the way down to the skirt down here. You can see all the way down to the end. So the whole thing got honed. We have some soapy water. We're going to dunk the cylinder in here, and then we're gonna clean it off, wash it out a little bit, just so all that debris is off of it from honing it. You don't want those little particles in there. Plus we get to clean the cylinder, the outside of it then. Alright, second rinse. Just water this time, no soap. Gonna get up all that debris and sand. Then we're gonna dry it with a rag and then blow it out with an air compressor. You can see how nice that honing job is. So we'll let this dry and blow it with an air compressor. We can start working on the piston. We can install this thing. We're gonna take a ring and install one of them. There we go. Of course my glove got stuck here. There we go. Alright, that's installed. You can see the ring is all the way in there. Oh, it is not all the way in. Alright, there we go. The little clip is good to go. Now we can install this piston onto the machine here. So the arrow on the piston right here goes to the exhaust port, so it's going to be going on this way, like this. We're going to lube this guy up. So we got a little canister of oil here. Dip that in there. So good to go. Down like that. Woo. So this is going to go in here like that. See if I can get this clip to go. Alright, new pistons installed. Looking good. Got the arrow pointing towards the exhaust. All the rings are on there, all lubed up, ready to put on the cylinder. Before we can do that, we need the base gasket, which we don't have. So we're going to have to skip that part for now. And I think that's as far as we can get today on this thing. So let's just see if this thing turns over here quick. I know it does, but I just want to do it. Alright, let's see here. So pretty soon we can put the jug on and start this thing up. That's going to be a good day. Alright guys, well that wraps up today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Next video on this thing, we should be able to put the top end on and get this thing started up for the first time since the rebuild. We're just waiting on that base gasket. So everything else is good to go. We've got brand new oil for it, brand new coolant for it coming, new air filter, so everything should be perfect on it. Also, we're going to be doing the race between the Honda 400EX and the Yamaha Raptor here pretty soon. Just waiting on Chuck to be free. That should be a pretty good race. And then once the Tecate 4 gets done, we'll be doing the race between that one and whichever one won this race. So that'll be a pretty fun one too. And then we got a couple other projects I'm working on too, so stay tuned for those. We still have the CR250 we're working on, and then I've got this cafe racer that I want to get working. So this is going to be a winter project too. So that's an RD350 cafe racer. It needs air filter and a battery, and then this thing is pretty much finished, and then a seat pan. Haven't been able to ride this thing too much, and last time I rode it, it kind of like sputtered and died, which I think was because of the battery. So we'll have to dig into this too when we have some time and get this figured out, because I know a lot of people like this bike, including me. So anyway, that's the plan. Stay tuned for future videos. And until next time, we are out.